Welcome once again to YAR Talk, where this week we'll be talking about Denise Crosby's sex life. What's she like in the Jeffries tube with a plunger? Well, what? Oh, sorry, wrong YAR. Anyway, hi everybody. Joining us this time, we got babyface IkiFoo, Laggy Dave the Wanderer, lanky space quest historian, and beautiful Resulka. Hello, everybody.
I like these nicknames. I'm gonna keep them.
Hi. What?
Especially Jordy Gordon's. Yeah, sorry, I'm all on Star Trek. Actually, you would look great with a visor.
Jordy would know what she's like. Damn it, no. Moving on. Yeah, hi. What have you guys been playing? Save me from this.
Synergist.
What?
Synergist. Just Synergist all the time.
Do you mean like on the computer or in the Jeffries tubes?
Sure.
Well, I've been playing Monkey Island, and then I've been editing some lovely video of Resulka reading Star Trek fan fiction aloud. It should be out on the channel by the time you're watching this. Don't watch it.
Oh, is that? Oh,
You know you want to watch it.
Yes.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
You could
I want
just
to watch
have
it
it on
too.
in the background while you're doing something else.
Yes, watch it.
Yes,
It's
this is gonna
it's a lot worse than what
Resulka's in person.
it's a lot worse than what YAR does in the Jeffries tube. Okay, let's get off of that.
Yes, please let's get off, and then out of the Jeffries tube.
Yeah, I just finished playing Journeyman Project Pegasus Prime on my Twitch channel. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Oh, I'm playing Genie's Curse. I'm actually playing something else other than Synergist. Hooray.
Ah, cool.
This is true. Yes.
It's good.
That actually looks interesting.
The
I'm
hell
still
have I
playing
been
Starship
playing?
Titanic. I can't fix that goddamn ship. I just can't.
love-
It's just.
Your videos are so good. I love watching you squirm.
We're like
What was
4
that?
minutes in. What is
Waiting
happening?
in the Jeffries tube.
Perhaps we should get on to the news before we break IkiFoo. And, of course, literally the day after we record the previous YAR Talk in which we're all going, when the fuck is Adventure Jam? Guess what gets
Adventure Jam
announced?
is on.
Yeah,
That was my topic.
Adventure Jam. I told you, I'm the host. I get priority.
You sniped it. It's okay. It's your birthday.
Adventure Jam 2019 has been announced on Game Jolt. It will last from June 8th through to the 22nd, at which point the voting will begin, and that will last till July
Vote for my
1st.
game, vote for my game, vote for my game, vote for my game.
Well, we
What's
are
your
the,
game vote?
we are the people you should be
Games.
talking about. You should be telling that to the judges, who this time around are a couple of people you might have heard of by the name of Laurie and Corey Cole.
They sound vaguely familiar, yes.
They're somewhat famous in the adventure gaming community, I do believe. Made a few games. And
They were on a
A couple.
glory quest of some
Yeah, something like
that-
that. Yeah.
Oh, they-
Quest, yeah.
Yeah, they were on some stream marathon. I don't think it was
Yeah.
important.
No.
Yeah, they made you a hero or something like that.
Yeah.
Also on the judging panel will
to
be
be one.
Ian Dallas, the creative director for Giant Sparrow, who, among other things, they did What Remains of Edith Finch. So, that'd be interesting.
Love that game.
And
That is a piece of
He
art.
might appreciate my game then.
hitherto, I have actually been familiar
I'm
with
just kidding.
the Adventure Jams as far as, you know, the rules and the judging criteria and everything. But I did happen upon a photo. I forget if they officially tweeted or if somebody else retweeted or something. But they are making changes to their judging criteria this time around. Whereas
There was some
before
drama
they
last year,
focused on, you know, graphics and sound and all the boring shit. Now they're focusing on really what relates more to adventures, I would say. They got atmosphere, characterization, mental engagement, emotional engagement, and lasting
Mouthfeel.
impression. And I think those are better judging.
Oh, I mean, that's like
I'm
when you were
ignoring
saying,
that
like,
completely.
You know, like
Hang on,
when
what
you
kind
say
of game
the
are you
name of
making?
Is it VR?
No.
Is this like a quest for the glory hole? And then we're gonna make a hero out of you.
No, mouthfeel just means like when you're saying certain words, it's the feeling of saying. So like, you know, like the title of a thing, be like,
How it rolls off your tongue,
Okay.
down your gullet.
I didn't see that one on the
vote
picture.
for Lemmus Knight, vote for Lemmus Knight.
Also, I'm gonna fail on every count because this year I am making my game with the one, the only Torpedo Bear. It is based off several things that happened at last year's Adventure X. It is in fact a game concept we came up with on the flight to Adventure X, but it is mainly based on an off-color joke that Sally Beaumont said at one of her talks. I see the regional accented people disappearing out of frame for some reason. Yes, you will all be invited to join us in the voice talent booth once that time comes.
Nice.
Dang it!
I don't think IkiFoo wants the invitation.
Come back.
That's
Come
all
back.
right.
Oh no. Oh dear. He's gone. He's gone.
He's actually crawling out of his room.
I've reached the carpet. I'm stuck. All right, enough of this. Oh, that leg doesn't work anymore. Okay.
So,
It's
carry
fine.
on.
You
My
didn't need
game-
it in the first place.
Not going to spoil too much, other than I mistakenly sort of false started today, although it technically starts tomorrow. But let's.
I'm
haven't
gonna
touched-
false start like an hour or two
Unbelievable.
beforehand because I'm losing 4 days in the middle for work trip. So
Yeah, I will say I false started because I got the dates wrong. I thought it started on a Friday. It starts on a Saturday. So
so it used to start on a Friday. Now it starts on a Saturday.
yeah, that's
Well,
yes.
both their games are disqualified. Who else is making stuff?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I just.
Hacks.
Just flaunting the rules with no regard for anybody.
I
can't
already
believe
told
you.
Stacy that I might start an hour or two early. and he
Reckless
went,
abandon.
I think the Wanderer is making an FMV title. It's basically just you click on several. It's kind of like Her Story, but every time you search for something in the engine, all that comes up is just an FMV of him eating soup.
Yeah. And funny.
Spoilers, dude.
Now that you've spoiled it, well, there is going to be also a door opening scene where it's going to be a shot of the face, then the door, then down at the handle, then the hand, then the arm moving, then the door handle with the hand on it, then the turning, then the opening, and then the character will walk through. So I'm really, really excited.
It won't open the door, it'll just walk through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just open the door, slam it into his face, and then phase through the door.
But the most important question: will there be any light fixtures in the game?
Beautiful.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Well, we don't have time to go into all
You
this.
spoiled the rest of the
Yes,
door
Yes,
thing.
there is.
How many hours have you got to talk about light fixtures?
Hot enough as it
Desolation.
is.
Well, say the.
Actually, I just watched that video for the first time, and he went on and on more about the floor tiles than it did the light fixtures. To be
Oh, those
honest.
tiles, though.
Oh god, the floor tiles. Oh,
Yeah. Every
we
time he saw a
tried-
floor tile, I thought he was going to have a damn orgasm.
the floor tiles in that game are really good.
Yeah,
I
you gotta
really
give
like
him the vapors.
The wood carvings. Oh, the wood carvings for me.
You know what? I tried to not bring up the floor tiles because I watched that video as well. I was going to stick to the light fixtures because then I knew whatever came next would only last maybe an hour. But now you brought up the floor tiles, we're going to be here all
I mean,
fucking day.
I mean, seriously, if you haven't seen the
not,
video,
not
he's
to
like
mention.
he just kind of offhandedly mentions a light fixture every now and again, but then he looks at the floor. Oh, look at the detail in these floor tiles. Oh.
Basically, subscribe to the Wanderer, subscribe to the Wanderer, subscribe to
Yeah.
The floor tiles. Subscribe to the floor tiles.
Exactly.
Floor tiles. Oh yes.
Come for the
Get
floor
on the
tiles.
floor.
stay
Don't
for
get me
the soup.
started on the wooden carvings. Oh my.
Oh, the wooden carvings. Mm.
I know. I know.
Come for the floor tiles.
Yeah,
I think that yeah.
come
That
on
could
the
mean
floor
more than one
tiles,
thing,
stay
really.
for the light fixtures.
See, the problem with the floor tiles is if he's looking down at the floor tiles, then also in that shot would be.
The
Anyway,
reflection of
Host, do your hostness.
Yes,
help.
please.
I what?
Reel us in.
I think we were safer talking about Denise Crosby. Who's got other news?
I do. I have news. Leisure Suit Larry: Wet Dreams Don't Dry is coming to PS4 and the Switch this summer.
Okay,
Ah,
it's
Cool.
fine.
nice.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm okay with it.
It's not one
Yeah.
of the 3D disasters. It's fine. Everything's
It's
fine.
fine. It's fine.
fine.
I mean,
Everything
I've
is
been told
I've got
I've
no
not played
opinions
it.
on it. I've never played.
I
Leisure
still
Suit
need to
Larry.
finish it,
No,
actually,
I
so-
played it. I played a little bit of it, and it's not. It's fine.
Yeah, I finished.
fine.
I like. Well, what's it called? I played probably like half of it with Richard Cobbett, and like we got stuck, and then I had to go back to the hotel room, and then he just messaged me going, "I finished it," and I went, "What?"
You asshole! I hate when people do that. Like you sit down with someone and you play a game, and Then you say, "Oh shit, is that the time? It's like 4 in the morning. I gotta get home." I used to do this a lot when I was a teenager. Just go to someone's house, play a game, and then fuck off. And then
Well, it was nice to meet you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
and then you
No,
come
it
back
was more
the
about
next
the-
day, and then
well,
just while I stayed up and
yeah.
I finished it. I skipped school and I finished it. It's like fuck you, dude.
No, it wasn't that part. Like, cause that was the night before Adventure X. That was like, we're not going to be able to finish this together. But it was just like an hour after I left him, it's done. I'm like, what? We played that for like 7 hours, and you just did it, but the rest of it in an hour.
Stupid Richard.
We love
What a
you,
dick, eh? Richard.
It's on his
Don't.
business card.
Don't.
It is literally on his business card
What?
I
Dick
somehow
What's on
I'm
his-
not surprised.
that he's a dick.
Oh, right.
Dick Cobbett is an awesome PR name.
It is.
He says as his camera's frozen. But anyway.
His camera's
Yeah.
frozen and he went a bit Daft Punky on us. Although it is frozen in a I'm gonna screenshot that.
Yeah. It's very
Yep,
ponderous.
screenshot,
I like it.
screenshot away.
There we go.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with you getting NBN. We're not going to be able to get these beautiful frozen shots anymore.
Yeah. We'll
That
just
is
have
an
to
awful
randomly
photo
command you
right
to
there.
freeze and just take a pose for us.
We'll just have to set up a hotkey that stops our
Freezes me.
internet.
Just DDoS me.
Well,
Sorry,
while
Dave.
Wanderer tries to sort out his problems, how about we move on to
I
Super
do
Happy
have a
Fun
bit
Happy
of
Game
news.
Time? Too late!
It's too late. Oh well.
Save it
Next
for
week,
the next
maybe.
episode.
Save your face for the next episode.
I shall.
Wait. Oh wait, there's your face. I didn't think that one through. Anyway.
Well, I mean, we don't want anything to happen to my face before the next episode, do we?
Super happy fun time.
Well,
indeed.
no.
Oh,
This-
yeah.
this
we
went
can be
somewhere.
host. I mean, what?
What?
That's what I call looking at floor tiles.
What the fuck is happening? We're doing a game. That's what's happening. So, there are several bots on Twitter. Good bots, actually. The kind you don't want to instantly delete and report. And yeah, good bot.
It's a good bot.
That's a good bot.
I
One
miss
such bot
Egress.
is the Hint Line, which posts a bunch of random
I love
steps
the line.
to a puzzle.
I love that suit.
Put the soup down.
Oh, sorry.
Exactly.
Step
that could
away
be one
from
of them.
the soup.
That could be one of them. So I figured I would take some screenshots.
Screen
yeah.
chats.
Free chats.
Took some
Just squeeze one out,
screenshots of some of these
put it on the
tweets
web.
here. I don't know what accent that was, but anyway.
Screen chats open up their Twitters.
Yeah,
He's from
that's
Everett.
about that's about the quality of me doing an Australian accent. Is your southern?
It's like my
How dare
southern
you.
accent, actually.
Let's see if we can figure out what kind of puzzle might be solved from some of these hints. Read the guidebook. Place the pine cone and the blanket in the file cabinet, then show the pine cone to the trapeze artist.
Oh, that's a LucasArts game from the early 90s. That's
Right.
like that's some Zach McCracken bullshit right there.
And the funny thing is, you don't take the pine cone out. You put the trapeze artist into the box that you put the pine cone into.
Because he's a very tiny
That's
trapeze
not what I
artist.
thought you were going, so that's fine. That's fine.
Put the pine cone in the trapeze artist?
Yes.
How will he look at it?
Well, that kind of box. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, very sorry.
Well
Very
then.
sorry indeed.
We're all sorry.
That degraded
oh.
quickly. How about
can
let's
believe
move
that.
on? Try another one.
We have to blame seventh guest. I'm just sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Trolls.
I'm
I'll
fine
get
with
in
that.
The Jeffrey's tube.
Just eat my soup.
Get
I'm
it.
sorry.
Get in the
I'm
Young
fine
man, I'll
with-
see you in the Jeffrey's tube after.
I'm fine with blaming the seventh guest for anything at any time. How about this one?
So right.
Hey,
Put
hey,
it down, man.
I will.
that was a solid episode.
Penance has
Look at
gone
all
too
that
far.
control just going slowly, steadily away from me. Wafting away from me. Walk to town hall. Pick up the imaginary wand. Wait for 9 hours. Then hit the sky with the rubber ball.
Darkseid.
Yeah, Darkseid,
That
definitely.
is some Darkseid piss right there. Except for the magic wand, that's probably it's some sort of HR Giger
I was
wand
gonna
shaped like a
say-
penis.
Right.
Oh god,
gonna
yeah,
say
but that's why it's
baseball.
invisible.
Any other game I would have said euphemism, but no, HR Giga is definitely a physical object in some kind of phallic shape because
Right.
like
was-
like the shape of a fist.
Yes.
I was gonna say Discworld for that.
I was going to say penis, but yeah.
So, what would we be trying to accomplish doing this?
What the hell were you trying to accomplish in Darkseid?
In any well, no. So the first
Yeah,
Darkseid,
well, you had
were
a
definitely
headache.
trying to You
I've
were
seen the
definitely trying to
entire
get. You were definitely trying to get rid of an embryo that was implanted in your head,
You had a headache,
but you
yeah.
actually never deal with that.
Maybe that's
No,
where the
it's
pine
just-
cone went.
You get rid of the aliens, and somehow that's it.
Yeah.
And Starkseid 2.
At
I
some point, you
guess.
realize your mirror is a teleporter to the HR Giger penis dimension, and then you just sort of piss around there for an hour, and then you go back and end
And the
credits.
only way to get to
Yeah,
your
the Peenverse.
Yes.
the only way to get to the
your mirror's
car
not?
that's in your the only way to get to your own garage is to climb through the
Oh, yeah,
attic
fuck, yeah.
and then scale down the backside of your house.
Whatever that Mike dude was
And-
smoking back then.
And the only way
Everything.
to get a stick is to buy the only liquor bottle in the store that your neighbor wanted to buy and give it to him, and then he throws a stick for his dog, and his dog goes the other direction.
Yes. This is
Only
this
way
is
to
one
get a
for you,
stick.
Gemini.
That's
You
how I always
look at
get
you look at a
sticks.
bot like Magic Realism bot or the
Right.
headline and stuff, and you just go, okay, that's an AI just pulling random shit out of its pocket. No, this is what early '90s adventures were. Like
Oh,
the
I
ones
believe
that
it.
weren't-
I believe
weren't
it.
made by Sierra LucasArts. They went places, man.
It's just retelling the plot of Darkseid again and again and again.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it devolves into Mad Libs, but half the time, no, it's just, thesaurus.
So
Well, how about
are you
this? Is
saying
this
all
still
games
Darkseid?
at some
Open the
level-
puddle, then push the mechanic. Don't step on the bell. Cryo
Sorry.
sleep for 9 hours. Combine the hose with the plunger.
Full throttle too.
That's a Pendulo Studios
There's
game.
a full throttle too.
There
What
is
was
that? I guess
now,
there
but
is
it's,
now.
it's not.
a
It's
road
not.
adventure.
Oh God, it is Runaway. God, it is Runaway.
Runaway road adventure.
I got
That's
confused
funny.
by the mechanic. But you're right, it's
Oh.
Runaway.
It
It's
is.
Runaway.
Has anyone seen Blue Ice?
Oh God.
The surreal
Cuts that I have.
adventure. It's
That
just like
sounds familiar.
It is an LSD
I have an image
game.
of it.
It's honestly an I did a playthrough of it with Frederick on my channel long time ago. It is the most surreal, bizarre adventure game you've ever seen, and not in the fun way.
I mean,
Just
for a
in
game which
something
takes its
worse.
name from the drug from Synergist, I mean, what else do you expect?
No, that's Ice Rock, but still, close.
Ice rock or
Well,
blue ice,
dust.
blue rock or blue dust. Yeah,
I like how what's it
blue
called?
and
I
ice
think-
are involved.
I
Yeah, but
think
the-
I think literally the German title of the game is the blue stuff. Synergist, the blue stuff.
Der blauen
Yes.
Stadt.
Like the screen they stood in front of.
Ah. I
Well,
don't
it
know.
has to be because Joe was wearing green. Joe was wearing bright green
That's
pants.
very true.
So this was some surrealist bullshit. This was one of those. It's some Starship Titanic bullshit, really. The stuff that you need a walkthrough for.
Well, this one sounds like maybe
How is
Gabriel
it
Knight
supposed to be
bullshit, or maybe
from
Black
the
Mirror.
TV?
How about this? Buy the
Oh,
blanket from the
perfect.
werewolf for 3 space credits. Place the mirror and the meat in the cardboard box.
Callahan's
Space Quest
Cross Time
Halloween
Saloon.
Special.
Ah, yes.
That's the one.
No, it has to be Callahan's.
What
That's the
did
one,
you
yeah.
say,
That
Dave?
I
game has aliens
said-
and
I said a Space
I like how
Quest
we've gone-
Halloween Special.
I like
Space
how we've
Quest
gone from
Halloween special.
trying to figure out what puzzle's being solved to trying to figure out what game this is likely to take place in.
Buy a werewolf for space credits. Yeah, that does sound like some Callahan's.
No,
Cross.
buy
Now,
the
maybe
blanket. Buy the blanket from
there
the
is
werewolf
werewolves
for
and
space credits.
aliens. That game is amazing.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's,
It might-
it's Callahan's, hands down.
It could be Callahan's. It could also be some like old school Steve Moretsky Infocom type shit. Like the really,
Yeah.
really bizarre
Yeah.
shit he did, like back with Station Fall and Planet Fall, that kind of stuff. Maybe, kind of. I mean, they did fucking what was it? Latex Phobos
Oh,
Babes
no.
of who gives us shit.
I have latex. It's gonna come up on FMB Club eventually.
Oh, good.
We're gonna censor so much of that. So much.
What the hell?
Wait,
So much.
did you say good? Is it the right word? Oh, good.
Can we bleep this bit as well?
Yeah, I might.
There's absolutely definite fucking going on in that game. Like pornography.
Let's not bleep that, because that was.
Have I missed
That was
something?
interesting. When did we get to
Just the
Disneyland?
future of FMV Club.
Anyway,
Alright.
don't get hit by the drugs. Get the bungee cord from the trunk. 9 points.
Hang on, we
Let's
just
do
played that
Larry.
one. Yeah, I was going to say the first game we played on FMV Club.
Oh, you're right, Gag.
The Limp Adventure.
Oh, of
I
course.
mean,
The Infinite Mystery.
Yeah.
to be fair, Gag does sound like the kind of game where you would actively try to avoid getting hit by drugs.
It does. It's drugged enough already. No fucking need.
Okay. All right, last one.
Right.
Walk south. Exchange the bra with Rasputin for the statuette. 13 points.
Day of the
Gag
Tentacle,
again?
the unfinished sequel.
Or that one, yeah.
Or Pepper's Adventure in Time again, but
Yeah.
older this
X-rated
time.
Adventures in Time.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's it called? A long time ago, I was like, I wanted to do like a series of little videos where it was like the diaries of like subsequent ventures, to the point that it was just gonna be like, it's just like a post-apocalyptic world. Pepper is now an adult. Lockjaw's like an android dog at this point, so it would have fit.
The gritty reboot of Pepper. I'm into it.
Well, what's it called? It was a what-if machine, so I can just imagine that Uncle Fred at some point went, "What if Pepper was an adult?"
Also, it's just so fucking on the nose, isn't it? Not only do they have cartoony style, and the first character you meet is Ben Franklin, and piss
Doing an
my-
O face in a hot tub.
Yeah, and it's Uncle Fred, not Dr. Fred, but so damn close you couldn't. The effort that went into this, the absolute effort.
Well, we actually burned through those a lot quicker than I thought we would. So, IkiFoo, what was your news? I think we got time for it now.
Return to the
Ah,
news
heck.
space.
I look it up. I look up the thing. Oh yes, here we go. So I'll read off the headline first of all. Maine-based Myst co-creator releases new years in the making video game, and that would be this. The name Chuck Carter. Ring any bells?
Yeah, he sounds familiar. I think I
Rings a
remember
bell. Yeah.
seeing him in the credits for Myst.
Well, he has, or he's part of a company at least called Eager Games, EAGRE. Then Games.
Egre.
You know how that's
Egre.
spelled? Yeah, so apparently he was one of the lead designers, along with brothers Rand and Robin Miller, of Myst. So that's a start. This new game is called Zed, single-player adventure game that takes place on an imaginative fictional world.
Oh, I think I might have seen something about that. I didn't know it had that connection to it, though.
There was a game in the 90s called Z or Zed, like the
Yeah.
letter
Yeah, but that was
Z,
a
and
real-time strategy.
That was a real-time strategy game.
There's two of them, actually. I forget what the second one was called.
Cute.
But yeah, it seemed in our wheelhouse. I have no idea if it's any good or not.
If it's-
I
if
I
it's the
don't
game I'm
spend
thinking
a
of,
lot of time looking.
I remember
for
it was
videos.
described as Myst-like, but I didn't realize it was. It
I can
actually
go
had
with that.
that
I can
Myst
go with that.
connection. Cool.
I also know of a game that recently came out that I should have mentioned because it's made by friends of mine, and they will be mad if I don't mention it.
Shame on
Oh
Um,
yes.
The Cloak and Dagger people have
Ooh,
uncloaked
yes.
the latest adventure.
Didn't we talk about that last weekend?
We did,
last
but now
time?
it's out.
Oh yes, now it's out, and so is an IkiFoo review of it.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
We were gonna.
Subscribe to IkiFoo. Subscribe to IkiFoo.
No, really. I was gonna mention that and stuff I'd been playing, but never got round to me. So.
but what's it called?
You didn't
Dragon
talk
say
quick
anything,
enough.
but since you bring it
Yeah.
up,
Dragon
you never
also
got round
came
to me.
out.
Sorry.
Drugs came out.
Dragon,
and
Dragon,
have been,
Dragon,
Drago.
Dragon.
Dry Dragon, Kriegen in meinen
Schlaf.
Schlaf.
Schlaf. In Ragnar Turnquist's Schlaf.
Yes. Oh dear. But yeah, no, that one was kind of a surprise to me because like we saw the trailer last year at Adventure X, and then I heard nothing, and then suddenly I'm out.
I saw a trailer premiere on YouTube. It looked quite interesting. It kind of felt like, the Norwegian Tourist Board paid Ragnar Turnquist a hell of a lot of money to faithfully
hope so.
reproduce scenic fields in Norway and maybe stick a story in, it's just for flavor, But basically,
I have not found time to play it yet because of all the synergists replaying. I will
because
fight.
of all the
I
synergies.
will fight.
Oh, the things this woman has cooked up in regards to synergist. Jesus, you people.
She is
You know.
truly deep in the synergist.
Oh yeah. You have no
I
idea.
think
In
it's
fact,
time
this
to consult
is
a
an
rabbi.
intervention. I
is
think
all
you've
I'm
got a
gonna
problem.
say.
Right.
Yes.
This
I agree,
is
though.
foreshadowing.
Yeah.
We're not just
Or
joking.
I agree.
Or an exorcist, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever comes first.
A very particular rabbi, but yes.
All right. Any more news?
Yes, my soup is awful.
No one cares about your soup.
Leave it be, man. It's already dead.
It's done. It's over.
Just move on, man.
Happy's already
Can't
gone to
move
Monte
on.
Carlo.
Talking to me. What? No, you're ugly. Fuck you.
Welcome to YAR Talk.
Okay, then.
What is our main topic?
Yeah. do we
I'm
have-
glad you asked. Actually, we tried to do this topic a while ago, but we had to abandon the episode, which may or may not have had anything to do with someone's incompetence. Anyway,
I
Or
was also
OBS
hungry.
screwing up, you know, that's a
all
possibility.
All of us.
Yeah.
We've all done something.
that kind of thing.
It was terrible.
So I want to know, what do you think are the most overused tropes and or mechanics in adventure games? IkiFoo, since I passed you up for the news, apparently we'll start with you.
Oh, well, go on then. Well, I was born... No. I'm not going to make up for
Webster's
that much
defined
time.
trope
We do
and-
kind of need to fill for time.
It's
Well, I
backstory.
suppose.
That's what he's saying, right?
In the beginning, one that springs to mind is the incredibly convoluted, out-of-character puzzle, which would never happen in the real world, that nobody comments on. I don't think it has a
Right.
specific name, but
Well, give us an example and maybe we'll know what you're talking about.
well, you know, for example,
Thinking
having to sit down on a couch to solve a fucking crossword puzzle. No, that's that's just straight up moon logic. That doesn't make sense. But
Yeah.
you know, for example, having to climb down a drain pipe and various other things that were said 5 minutes ago that I've already forgotten to get into your own garage.
Yeah, that whole dark seed
Yeah.
thing. Or
Stuff
having,
that should not happen in real life, but nonetheless does.
putting an inflatable blue rubber ducky on a fishing pole to retrieve a key in a subway station and no one says a goddamn thing.
Like,
That's
not even the
that's
characters,
funny.
just like, this is
Yeah.
fucking
This
weird.
This is life.
This is...
This is life.
So basically, moon logic in general.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we can thank Ragnar Turnquist for that last one too. This
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
before he went into tourism.
Yeah. It's just make me think moon logic plus the fact that nobody thinks it's weird. Because it's weird. It really is.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I get you.
Do you know what? Building on that one, one thing that I think is overused, and no one really comments on this, but I've seen some games try to alleviate this problem. But it is when you've got a first-person narrator in an adventure game. Like a person walks into a room, he is the protagonist of this game, and he will now walk up to each and every interesting object in the room and describe them out loud, and no one bats an eye.
Right.
I've always
Is it-
found that weird.
There's very few games that can get away with that, but the one that springs to mind is Discworld Noir, which is the only time where I can actually think of a reason why the protagonist would monologue about any item that you care to click on. Because
But
Laura
he's
always
not doing it
loved the
to
Scarlet
anyone.
Furies.
smart.
I mean, Tex
And,
Murphy. Tex Murphy does this
was
with
gonna
an
say
inner
Tex.
monologue.
Yeah.
He just thinks because you're watching it through his head. Lamplight City circumnavigated this in a very clever way by having
yeah, with-
the ghost of your dead friend speaking to you and only you.
Well, yeah, because that's it's a narrative that makes sense in terms of the story, whereas most narrations is kind of like either it's self narration, which I actually kind of loathe because in the sense that if you're getting this character to tell you what it is, it's like you already know what it is. You can see with your own eyes. But at least with narration, it's like, well, someone is telling you a story that is framing this, but it generally doesn't make sense in the narrative of things.
Yeah. As much as I love the Sierra narrator, especially when Gary Owens is the Sierra narrator, from like I guess a purely gameplay immersion standpoint, it doesn't really make sense because there's this ongoing debate in Space Quest circles: can Roger hear the narrator or not? Sometimes they have conversations in Space Quest 6, and then in Space Quest 4, they can't hear each other, and and that fourth wall breaking there, where a lot of indie games love doing this. If they've got a narrator, then the protagonist has to start an argument with the narrator. Hey, what's that voice? I don't know. What's that? Ugh.
What's it called? I think what I did for one of the adventure jams was that what's it called? I made it within a couple of days. It was crack. It was absolute crack. Which is Long Live the Cat King, where when the narration starts up, I think like one of the girls in the room just suddenly says, "The house is talking again." Just like that.
At least it's not the Staff Mansion. The house is right.
The house is. I'm not sure what it's doing.
It's
obviously very good at it.
Okay, so
I think one thing we could probably all agree is needs to just fuck off from any kind of game. Mazes.
Yes, please.
Because again, just recently finished the Journeyman project, and up until throughout most of the game, I was having a blast. I was enjoying just about everything about it. I was loving it. And then I got towards the end of the game, and there was a fucking maze, and that just kind of drug things down significantly, and I really didn't like it.
I think you can do mazes, but you have to have a really good way of helping the player actually work out how to get through the maze rather than them just wandering at random.
Well, there was a map, but it's so freaking tiny
I don't mean
compared
that.
to the rest of the screen.
I mean say for example that they have to solve some sort of puzzle that actually tells them how to actually get through rather than them just wandering in blind with a map. Give them sort of like a
map upstairs.
Yeah, as I've said before, which you could only get a note of that in the 90s if A, you copied the whole thing down to paper by hand, or you had a Polaroid camera and a friggin' microscope.
Yeah,
that was dickish. Yeah. And the one thing I really hate with mazes is when they the maze at the end of the Pandora Directive, where it doesn't just expect you to find your way through the maze. It expects you to go to every dead end in this rather large maze, incidentally, and pick up little bits of shit that you need in other rooms scattered throughout the maze. So you basically have to map out the whole thing. You can't just point A to point B.
It's rough.
Yeah.
That one's rough, yeah.
Overused trope that I would like to see go away is speak to someone, go and do a thing, go straight back to the person.
Fetch questing.
Yeah.
Fetch questing, or even you go to you're in a room to get to another room only to have to go back to the other room straight away. If it was something you've got a locked door, okay, you need to go back, that's fine. But say for example in Gag, where we left the castle, went back to Gary's apartment, so we could find another way back into the castle.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, I never got that. He threw himself out of a window.
Oddly enough,
then he
that's
swam to shore.
He was locked out on the balcony, and so he had to get back down, and then the marquee wouldn't let him back in, so he went back to his house into the sewer, and then came up through the sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
That's what you had to do with the Maze and Journeyman project, or the first one anyway, because you had to go through the maze to get back to an earlier part of the level, which you couldn't do because the minecart you took to the maze had sodded off without you. So,
I respect it a little bit more if the place that you get back to has changed. Say for example, Dracula Love Kills. There's a point in the bonus chapter where you basically lock yourself off from an earlier area. But when you get back to that area, it's actually technically a new area because there's been a landslide and there's all these, extra bits and all that to go through.
Right.
So I reckon stuff like that, that's fine because, stuff like that will happen. But if it's just you left a place, let's come up with a convoluted reason to pad it out so you can get back to this place.
That's what mazes usually are. They're usually just extending gameplay artificially, and it completely kills momentum of any game. Inherit the Earth, I was actually quite enjoying that until I got to the fucking dark maze. All right, let me put this out. 2 things you should, if you're gonna do a maze, then please do not do this thing. When you reach a dead end, shadow of a comet, don't teleport me to some random fucking location in the maze, making it impossible to map out. Also, don't do the Legend of Kyrandia Book 1 thing with the fucking fire berries. Get fucked.
Yeah.
What did that do?
Oh,
It's
someone
more than
explain
just
the
the fact
fire
that
berries.
you just have to keep going around and around until you find everything.
It's
Oh,
a
one
thing.
of those.
It's a thing where the maze will sort of auto kill you unless you're carrying an inventory item that gradually loses its light source. Like if the maze goes dark, insta kill, and you're carrying this inventory item around, and you can re-pick up the fire berries in various bits around the maze, but they go out eventually. So it's
And like
not
the
just
It sounds like
sandals
some
as well.
Shadowgate shit.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, what's it called? It's like, because I'm, after we finish Thimbleweed Park on my streams, that's what I kind of want to go through all the Carandias. And that's the only thing that makes me go, oh, God. We have to go back through the mazes.
Yeah, and you have to do it several times.
I really like Carandia. I really like them. Like, well, actually, I haven't played the third one, but I really like the first two. But it's just like that whole thing of being like, you're going back into that maze. You were in that maze a very long time. Do you really want to go back to it? And like, I do.
This is something I talked about. What?
I was just asking if the one Malcolm's Revenge or Hand of Fate. I always get those two mixed up.
Third one is Malcolm's Revenge. Hand of Fate is.
right.
Hand of Fate is brilliant. It's actually it's the only one I've finished. It's brilliant up to the point. There's this one bit where it goes
Terraphonoid? No.
not even that one. Actually, that is a bit shit as well. But there's one point where you get to right near the end of the game. It locks you in a room, and then expects you to do every magic spell you've ever done up until this point. It's basically like Mega Man. Like when you get to the end of a Mega Man game, and it expects you to fight all the bosses once again.
Yeah.
This is the adventure game way of doing that.
Well, it reminds me a bit of what's that called? Return to Zork. Right near the end of the game, to raise a bridge up, you basically have to throw all your inventory items into lava. And if you haven't picked up everything, you're just like, wait, it hasn't quite got up. What was I missing? What was I missing?
That's kind of
Oh yeah, God, yeah.
Glad I got that to look forward to when I eventually play the game.
Wait, you haven't played Return to Zork? I thought you liked Zork.
Zork
You
Grand
like Zork
Inquisitor.
and Grand Inquisitor. So you don't know how good this series gets.
Wait, is Return to Zork which is the one that has the old king in the bubble that talks to you?
That was Return to Zork. That's
Yeah.
Oh,
Wizard
okay,
Trevor.
never mind, I'm
Thank
not gonna
you very
play that
much.
one.
He's not an old king.
I keep
You know,
getting Return to Zork and Zork Nemesis mixed up.
I also like Zork Nemesis.
Nemesis is the one I want to play eventually.
Oh god, I love Nemesis. You know what? If you ever need someone to get you through those games, I know them like the back of my hand.
Nice.
My hand is smooth.
I got another trope.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Yay! This is one I actually worked out with in conjunction with our good friend Christopher Sachi, aka the Lost Train Dude, because I was playing a game called Bear With Me, which I recommend. It's actually a really good game, especially if you hang on to the last episode. The last episode gets brilliant, but it does this thing constantly, which Christopher and I named the Stairway to Nowhere. And that's when you get into a dialogue situation with another character, with an NPC, you're given the dialogue tree list, and there's no I'm done talking to you option. You have to go through every option until the character says, now fuck off. And it doesn't accomplish anything. You don't get anything. You're just locked in that conversation until it's over.
I think that's one of the things I quite like about Laura Bow 2, that you know, like in terms of the, because it's built on observation and comprehension. So if you don't go through everything, absolutely everything,
Two things
you
I
might
suck
not.
at.
Yeah, if you don't go through everything, then you won't get the full story. But you'll get enough of the story at a certain point to just get through it. You know, so I've always respected that whole, like, you know, like if you want the extra content, it's here. But if you don't, it's up to you. Learn whatever you want to learn.
This is something I brought up in my video on Whispers of a Machine that I'm not really too much of a fan of, is when you die, suddenly the game just resets and you're back to where you were a second or two before you died. If you're going to put death in a game, have it mean something.
I agree with that.
Or at least have
Absolutely agree
at
with
least
that.
have
Or
an
make it
in-game
fun.
reason as to why everything resets. Just don't just die and then
Because
poof,
there's no-
it's fine.
Yeah,
'Cause
there's
that kinda
there's
takes me out of the
build-up
immersion.
Exactly. There's no penalty, and you're not trying not to die because you genuinely don't care because you know that if you die, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Counterpoint. What if death is used simply as another way of saying that doesn't work? Like, if that was the alternative to...
Well,
to
again,
death scene.
if
The Roberta
if
Williams
the-
approach to death.
if the reset were integrated somehow into the game, be it narratively or what have you, like say the King's Quest reboot, if you die, then King
Oh,
Graham
that
would say,
doesn't
obviously
really
that's not what happened because I didn't stick my dick in the shredder. I did this or whatever. But
Ignore that I said
my
that,
pro-
literal
yeah.
80-year-old.
my problem is just,
Sorry, Gwendolyn.
just a
I'm an old
random
man.
reset.
Where are my pills? Where are my pills?
Is there a blue pill in there somewhere? No.
There's the
Any brew
Red Plague.
dust?
Yeah, the Red Plague guys playing King's Quest 5, and like they started referring to the narrator as like like Grandpa. That doesn't make any sense.
It's,
Any
Listen,
time
you
that-
little shit.
it's an interestingly,
That's exactly where they went with that. So yeah.
It's a contentious issue, the try again issue, especially coming as a Space Quest fan. I believe I've mentioned this. There are a lot of deaths in Space Quest. There's even a thing called death hunting, where you go out of your way to get the protagonist killed because that's usually where the good jokes are.
Yeah.
But in Space Quest 6, they introduced the try again button because people were sick of whenever you died, you had
Having
to
to
have a
replay.
save game ready. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it was
Right.
back to the
Which
beginning.
I think if you take death as a comedic thing, then yes, definitely included. But I think it's when it's just its way of saying no, that doesn't work, or well, this doesn't mean anything. Let's do it again. That's fine. No,
When
that's
it's
not
overly
fine. That's-
sadistic, when it's something you
Yeah.
can't read, like if you go in and pick up a sharp piece of glass and suddenly he cuts his fucking arteries and is like,
Yeah.
well, you're dead. It's like, you're a dick, Mr. Game Designer, aren't you?
It's hilarious if they've done a really good animation for it. Just them going like, ah, 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 ah.
Dave, you having issues there?
Yeah, sorry
Dave's always
about that.
having issues. Next time, everyone, Dave will be smooth.
Next time we'll all take a plane
He's
to
shaving.
Sydney,
What?
sit in Dave's apartment, and for some reason, all our cameras will be lagging.
Yeah. His will be the only one with smooth frame rate. Something else
Oh,
I'd
we
like to
can't
see go, or just that annoys me, is not being able to skip, sort of related to the death thing, not being able to skip dialogue and or FMV scenes. Because
Yeah.
another thing that I kind of got irked about in Pegasus Prime was that you could skip none of the FMV in that game. And if you die, even if you save like right before a point when you die, chances are when you reload the save, it'll put you a little ways before that, and you've got to sit through all the FMV that was between you and that puzzle. No way to skip it at all.
Unskippable
So, yeah.
is unforgivable.
Exactly.
Put that on
Well-
a t-shirt.
There's one thing that I've noticed in replaying all the Synergist all over again and again and again, is that what's it called? There's one because usually when it comes to skipping and all that, especially if it's click to skip, it's one of those things that that you've clicked and then you go, oh fuck, and you've accidentally skipped through a whole thing. The way Synergist does it is that you have to click both of the mouse buttons like one then the other, and then it skips. So it's kind of like if you do a single click, it's fine. You've not accidentally done it. You've just gone ding, and then it's like, okay, you did want to skip, so let's take you through. So
Usually that's implemented these days as like a press and hold
button.
type
Yeah.
of thing.
Right.
It's interesting. A lot of people I've seen play classic LucasArts games, and I'm talking like 1990 to 1994 or something, like the golden age of LucasArts, are unaware that there is a skip dialogue key. It's not a mouse button press, and
It's
yeah,
the
you can
period
skip cutscenes by doing the same thing you can do in Synergist. Both mouse buttons together will skip a cutscene, but you can also skip individual dialogues by pressing the period key.
I'm pretty sure
Which-
left click will skip through dialogue as well, won't it?
Maybe in Curse. Maybe in
in
Curse
Curse,
onwards,
in Curse
Oh,
it does.
but not in Full Throttle. And
Granted,
not
I've
in the
not-
Dig and
I've
back.
not played them outside of Scum VM for a while, so maybe that was something they put in, but it's sounding like no, and I'm just talking shite, so
Yeah, because you
Ignore.
love your keyboard shortcuts.
I do.
Being
Even if
able
I
to
don't always
skippy,
know what they are.
skippy the dialogue and the long cutscenes and shit like that. Console developers really need to take heed of this shit because, I mean,
Right.
there's a,
They
especially
are
when
limited.
combined with death
Yeah.
scenes, and then you have to watch the fucking animation all over
Yeah.
again.
Not that
Just
it's
take me to
an
the boss
adventure.
fight.
Yeah. Not that it's an adventure game, but oh my god, like like I really wanted that so badly during like Kingdom Hearts, and just be like, fuck no, this is like the 9th time I've seen this.
We
I don't fucking
Because
care anymore.
when you die, you go back to before a big ass cutscene starts.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that comes back to the
Oh,
death
I
scenes.
died. I guess I'll just go get some popcorn.
One thing I missed talking about when we talked about deaths, and this also has the holy shit.
Here you go, Gemini.
Well, that beats my pot of soup any day.
Well, what's it called? That's what I was eating during 7th guest, and then I couldn't put it down, so I was just like,
Middle ground between hardcore deaths, keep a save game, or die horribly, or try again button
it's
is
a rice cake.
not rice cakes, but yeah, that was a beautiful rice
I
cake.
thought it was a verb coin.
It could be a verb coin. Let's get some food coloring.
That'd actually be fun, yeah.
Dave's Verb Coin
There's-
Cookies coming soon to a market near you.
There's,
That's
I
the
mean,
trailer for this episode. Just Wanderer holding up.
That'd be great. Yeah, if anyone of you are in an Adventure Jam, you can just screenshot that right now. Just yeah. No, but checkpoints. Checkpoints are a weird
Right.
system that I sort of understand in RPGs. What the hell they were doing in Omicron: The Nomad's Soul, I have no idea, and they certainly don't belong in adventure games because that's just weird. Resulka.
Well, then.
There's plenty weird going on in Omicron.
No, just our good old Lord and Savior, hidden objects games. Their
No.
checkpointing is every
Fuck
time you do
checkpoints.
anything.
And fuck hidden object games too.
I will fix you.
Fuck.
Let me educate
I'm gonna
you.
play
You
a hidden
will
object
learn.
game on my channel, and you're gonna join me.
Yeah.
We've already
I was
done that.
talking to
with
trolls, but
Pete.
you can join me too if you want.
Yeah. We played a hidden object game on Pete's Cavalcade. It hasn't come out yet, but it will.
I'm gonna play a normal hidden object game, and you'll join. There will be no sheep.
A normal hidden object game.
Yeah, I'm not entirely.
Yeah,
One that's not
I-
obsessed with sheep.
Words
like,
are
go-
coming
No.
out of your mouth, but I'm not entirely sure they form sentences.
Our dear Icky, like what
This is
did
my
you think
life.
about? Because like you've now finished a hidden object game. I mean, I was playing, but you were there for the ride. I would consider that probably like in the higher echelons of decent hidden object games.
Well, it beats the crap out of the Shutter Island one.
Yeah.
That
That's-
if you
that's
don't
not
know,
difficult.
that was the official video game tie-in for Shutter Island, a hidden object game, and not a good one.
Feel bad.
It was
movie
just
wasn't-
like
Movie
a
wasn't
bit,
terrific either.
a bit of dialogue happens, and then you have a hidden object scene. At least with
Yeah.
Dracula Love Kills, it's sort of implemented into the plot somewhat. I mean, some of them are just you're randomly digging through stuff, and maybe one of the items you pick up you'll hold on to and use later. Sometimes not. Sometimes
Ye-
none of the items that you click on are the one that you pick up and keep. But they actually try it. They have
This is
these
some-
powers
yeah.
you can use. You're backtracking. You're going, well, backtracking. You're exploring the world.
Yeah.
It's an actual
might be
game, basically.
Yeah, you might be surprised who actually changed how hidden object games work. Because before it was just here's a plot, here's a scene, here's more scenes, just keep going with it. Jane Jensen came through and worked on the Agatha Christie hidden object games, where she basically went, what if this was like an adventure game with rather than picking up scenes, just picking up items and rubbing it on stuff, like that. What if we, instead of doing that, we put the hidden object in?
No, but that would be
What-
actual
What if
gameplay.
this was a game?
Yeah.
I mean, that
That's
is
what Lost
blasphemy.
Lands is.
That's like putting puzzles in a walking simulator. You don't do that. Or stealth
yeah, so-
mechanics, for that matter. Observer.
Yeah, but actually, what's it called? There's a game called Valerie Porter, which I've always said is kind of like it's the Laura like they want to be Laura Bow. But basically, there is actually a point during that game where they put the stealth mechanic into the hidden object game, where you
No.
can hear hear someone walking
How do you do
past,
that?
and you basically have to stay still
No. See, the only way you can make that worse is by also including Tex Murphy
It was a
as
surprising
pixel
amount of
hunting.
tension.
So if you like, you have a seat like, let's imagine the.
Yeah, it is already.
I think Dave's trying to say something. His mic's muted. I can't hear Dave.
How about now?
Hey!
Yay!
There we go.
Oh, nipple rubs.
Well, it's calm down.
Can I take
There's
him
no floor
anywhere?
tiles. Calm down.
Come on. I'll
Where?
buy-
Where's the floor tile?
But yeah, what were we talking about?
Something.
Troy,
Anyway.
adding stuff to hidden object games, and Troll
yes.
said the only way you can make it worse, and I said to add survival element.
Ooh.
And that kicked you off the internet.
Yeah, because that is truly blasphemous.
Yeah, but what's it called? Because I'm trying to do the next step along with Lorna Baines in terms of like
Crafting?
you've got that kind of no. Well,
building?
actually, I did kind of
Loot
have an
boxes.
idea of. Anyway,
Oh,
mostly
no.
just like like kind of making puzzles more laterally solved. I think I've spoken about this slightly before, where like like to get through a door, you can use a key, or you can use this, or you can take it off at the door hinges if you've got a screwdriver, that sort of thing. But like like yes, Gabriel, I know. So like but like a hidden objects scene where like you can actually pick up everything, and you can try and use all those things. Rather, that's to be like, I'm looking for a specific thing. So go through this scene and be like, this thing will do this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Did,
to avoid the kind of puzzle like, yes, you need a sharp object here, but only that specific knife will do
Yeah.
the job.
Yeah.
It
This
took
is
me a
a
couple of
throwback to
months,
Monkey
but
Island
yeah, it took me a couple of months, but I basically wrote a module on top of Adventure Creator that basically says what attributes every single inventory item has.
Oh, this
and
one
then
is
it checks
sharp.
for
This
that.
one's flat.
This one's sharp. This one
That's-
is long.
that's actually
This
pretty
one
handy.
is fragile. So
This one
like
shouts
stuff
at
like
you
that.
when you rub it.
Yeah.
That's most of them.
Yeah.
Thanks to the
Anyway.
voices in my head.
Especially when that's a game I've made.
I think at this point we'll move on to the plugs. Who's got stuff to
Yeah.
plug?
Well,
FMV
there's
Club
an-
is
Oh,
on
right.
at the moment.
FMV
Synergist.
Club. Yes.
That's just wrapping up, right?
Yeah, we've got 2 more videos to come out, and then we're doing a big investigation piece, which we don't know when that's going to come out, but
It's a work in progress.
we are uncovering all the secrets. It has been came out in 1996. It's been 23 years. No one has found the Easter eggs. I want that graph.
23 years.
It's not even one of those
23
no one's
years.
done this on YouTube things before. It's like
No.
literally
My
no one
wife.
has.
No one
Does
has
anyone
uncovered.
want to
has
find the
uncovered.
Easter egg?
Or if they
We-
have,
do.
they've not
I
revealed
want-
it to the world.
I want the grand prize. I want it.
Yes, it belongs in our museum. Damn it.
It belongs on my shelf that isn't there yet. There's gonna be a shelf there, guys, eventually.
That's what I meant by museum.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing on your own channel as I fail to speak?
Well, I'm squirming with Starship Titanic, as Trolls mentioned earlier.
Nice.
Why he put it that way, we don't know. But yeah, that's
Logic
what's
puzzles do that.
Why?
You just end up.
Why?
If I'm recording a game and a
Why?
logic puzzle pops up, and I sit there and go, "This is awful television. This is awful television. This is awful. I'm boring people. This is awful." I don't know how you keep your cool, man.
You didn't see him
Well-
play Shivers.
Yeah.
Man suffered already. It could not break him. This
Yeah,
game has no
same
chance.
here. On my channel,
Also-
I'm finishing off Dreamfall chapters and Quest for Glory 4. And on the 24th of this month, I will have been doing YouTube for 10 years. So I need to work out something to do for that.
Cake.
So yeah, keep this space open.
2 gold, 2 stones.
You can see how high your voice will go.
Yeah.
Anyway, on my channel, I will not have been doing YouTube quite as long as that. And also, I've got a board game Obscura, hopefully coming somewhat soonish to the channel, so keep an eye out for that.
Is that the one that we helped out
Yep.
with?
Yep, it is on a game called Eureka.
Sorry, Dave.
Let's see.
Sorry, Dave.
By the time this comes out, Whispers of a Machine might not have wrapped up, but it'll be close to wrapping up that Let's Play. And yeah, that's about it.
I've
Joel,
been
Zeke, if you got
playing
anything going on?
pirates. I'm very into pirates this season, and
You really are.
They are in vogue.
Oh my god, can we get if I give you access to my Steam account, can you play Duke Grabowski?
I could, but why would I? Because it's pirates.
We've learned to be cynical with Resulka's recommendations.
Yeah.
For some reason.
I'm a Kickstarter backer. My
goals.
face is in that game. Actually, it's probably the worst part of that game is the portrait of me. Anyway.
When I
Okay,
get
now
new
you've made
internet,
your
you're
sale.
gonna be- when I get new internet trolls, you're going to be streaming Sid Meier's Pirates with.
No. That,
Which versions?
I cannot abide
Which
that. But
version?
I have been playing Nelly
Pirates
Kutalon.
Gold. Pirates Gold.
No,
Okay.
nothing that involves strategic thinking. I mean,
It'll
what
be
do I
just
look
us
like?
on the open sea. Come on.
Actually, there was that
They're
one
not-
Commodore 64 game. Hang on a bit. There's a Commodore 64 game where you're playing like you get this grid of.
Oh, if it's on the Commodore 64, it's okay.
Yeah, no. It was, I used to play it with my brother.
No
You basically-
denial.
You control. It's like a chessboard, but it's made out of ropes. And there's like ropes is running across the screen, and you've got a bunch of pirates, each on a different color on either side, and you can sort of move across this ropey grid thing.
same game.
Jam, and then but I'm gonna have to go and look this up. I just thought, oh shit, fuck that. Pirate games on my channel. Who gives a fuck? I'm gonna go look up Commodore 64 games. Have fun, guys.
Well, while he does that, a couple of updates on the YAR charity stream marathon. Have we officially decided the charity? I think we have.
Yes,
Able
we have.
Gamers.
Yeah, Able Gamers, yes.
Yes.
ablegamers.org, I believe, is the website, but I'll look that up and make sure and put it on the screen for you guys. And we are all. They can't see you, Dave. It's like a full screen thing, but thanks for the effort.
The big old graphic.
We're all trying to get in touch with the developers of our respective games that we're playing with varying degrees of success right now, but hopefully we'll have some guest commentators in the charity stream like we did last time, so be on the lookout for that. Of course, it is July 13th, again, on starting at noon Central European Time, 10 a.m. GMT, and whatever
9
your
p.m.
relative...
Melbourne/Sydney time.
There you go. That's the Australian
be a good
covered,
time.
and yeah,
I work out all the time.
all sorts of
thanks.
various times. We're all over the place. And I do believe that covers everything for this go around on YAR Talk, unless anybody else has got anything to add. Oh, no, Trolls has found his game.
I found it. Look at this shit.
I have not seen this before.
This is awesome. It's-
My
admittedly, I
God,
haven't
is it
either.
1985 already?
Why do the pirates look like zombies?
I don't know, but you got
they are zombies.
captains on both
We're
sides.
going to stare and wonder at this. In the meantime, we'll see you guys on the next YAR Talk. Bye.
Bye.